The AP was reporting as example that a tanker traveling off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz had caught fire after being struck by a projectile. Then we saw a pretty strong rally in energy and oil. Wednesday, you then saw Trump in a recorded interview basically claiming that the ceasefire with Iran is effectively over. And the quote was, "I don't want to deal with them anymore, they are scum." That's from your president. But effectively, the equity market with this price action was communicating that risk was now off the table, it was now priced in, and equally oil continued to pull back. This felt like a real setup. Bad news at the bottom, right? To spook everybody here, trap the late bears, squeezed them up. It's July 11th. This is Damian Brown, and you're watching Blockproof Macro. When we left off last, the indexes drifted up a bit sleepily after a 3-day weekend and the 4th of July festivities, but it didn't last. We've seen plenty of geopolitical drama intra-week, as well as price volatility, and despite such, we still believe that the thesis is in play, that we could see bullish for a bit into July OPEX, and then perhaps a pivot to energy towards the end of July. So after we left off on Monday, it didn't take long before we saw some news on the horizon. After markets closed the evening of Monday, we saw reports from various news associations. The AP was reporting as example that a tanker traveling off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz had caught fire after being struck by a projectile. No one was immediately claimed responsibility of the attack, though Iran was suspected of attacking at least 2 other vessels in the area. As it progressed, it became more clear that these were Iranian strikes, that there was multiple tankers involved, and by Tuesday morning, it was a fevered pitch of news. Let me go to the chart here just to kind of illustrate the intra-week price action. So on the Qs, after the Monday gap up, we saw a gap down, and into that price action, as the Nasdaq on the index level was selling off, we had further reports that it was indeed Iran and that the U.S. Treasury Department was going to go so far as to revoke general license that authorized the sale of Iranian oil. So in effect, that the sanctions against Iranian oil were being levied. Then we saw a pretty strong rally in energy and oil. Interestingly, I want to highlight here, as the semiconductors were selling off pretty aggressively, we actually were seeing a relative outperformance in the software and SaaS names. Energy was the major outperformer on that Tuesday, up 3%, with information technology being your tech lump down pretty aggressively. But within that cohort, you saw relative outperformance by software, and actually software and SaaS was up 1.5% on the day. And this was the trend of the week. Despite all of the news narratives and price action, you had semis set a low midweek and then rally up 8% by the end of that, but effectively were flat on the week as a whole. You had the mags were up 2% on the week. You had software on Tuesday was at its high, up 2%, and then later in the week, Thursday finished down 3% to then rally back to flat. Energy did finish net long on the week. As we trended through the news, we saw further continuation of price action. So from Tuesday's escalation, we then saw news at the end of Tuesday from U.S. Central Command that forces had begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crude by innocent civilians in international waterway. The U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks of 3 tankers. So in effect, escalation of the tit for tat, that on Tuesday we saw confirmation that was responsible for strikes on Western vessels in the Gulf, and then by Tuesday night and into early Wednesday that the US was reciprocating and the war was back on. Into that news, you saw continuation of oil spiking up, you saw continuation largely of the semiconductors selling off at the index level. And then the apex of the narrative on July 8th, so Wednesday, you then saw Trump in a recorded interview basically claiming that the ceasefire with Iran is effectively over. And the quote was, "I don't want to deal with them anymore. They are scum." That's from your president. So the peak narrative, very interestingly, also peaked with the price of oil, right? I've got a still from that exact Wednesday morning, right? We reached up to 75, 76 on WTI, and that was the high of the week. The peak of the narrative that we were going back to war and the absolute barrage of news items was effectively the peak of oil intra-week. So Wednesday ended up being the low on the index level and the high in the oil sector, right? So go back to the charts here, just to chronicle again the timeline. We hit this about like almost exactly when oil was peaking. We tagged this 701 line on the Nasdaq and we started to bounce. And it was a logical area of support if support was going to come in. And even though the news items further continued to proliferate and this propaganda of war's back on, the MOU is done and dusted, but equity markets were saying otherwise and oil was saying otherwise. So off of this level, we then saw a rotation back into semiconductors. I believe I've got a chart to share. This would have been by the time we were looking at Thursday. Tech and software was in full rally form. So Wednesday bounce, into Thursday continuation, and into that kind of overnight gap up and continuation, you had the taco, right? Trump stated to multiple news sources that Iran had just called. They want to make a deal very badly. I just don't know whether they're worthy of making the deal, and therefore the pivot in the narrative, the softening of all this. And even though there was a continued proliferation of reports of there being reduced vessel flows out of the straits, and that there was still potentially issues and conflict and reported strikes, but effectively the equity market with this price action was communicating that risk was now off the table, it was now priced in, and equally oil continued to pull back. So into Thursday then, very interesting rally sector by sector. On Thursday, we saw the outperformer rotate back to primarily semiconductors. And within that information technology, within tech, you saw a relative underperformance by software. And so the reason that I'm communicating this is because it's been just a terrific week of rotation, sector by sector. If you were long, you could rotate through, here's your IGV over SMH, and equally you can, IGV over SMH, you can see the news items of the week. Inside candle from Thursday into Friday, you had the index up, you had a small relative underperformance, right? An initial pull down by software versus hardware. Into Tuesday, as the news was starting to drop, you saw an performance by software, and actually software put in its high of the week. So you had an opportunity to take some profit on certain software names. And then as tech, including software, started to sell off, here on Thursday, you saw the relative outperformance. Once again, Wednesday into Thursday, you saw the relative outperformance of semiconductors versus software. And then by the end of the week, had returned to the median. And it was the inverse. If we look at WTI, we can track the inverse. You had the news start to proliferate on Tuesday, continue to escalate overnight into Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we put in our high, and the remainder of the week, the oil markets just were not buying the escalation narrative. Now, there's two ways to look at this weekly candle, in my opinion. This becomes an interesting candle structure for potentially confirming this bottom. If you wish to see it bearishly, then obviously this is a pretty long wick. We pushed up, major rejection, closed below the GMA line. But I think that this lines up very nicely with some further upside into later in the month. And I'm specifically targeting the supermajors, like Chevron as the example. And this is, in a nutshell, the thesis. Chevron held its gains, right? On the 4th of July, and then again Tuesday, I continue to reiterate, I think this is a back test. If we hold and reverse at this GMA line, this vol shelf, and we start to get constructive, if we start to move, the stock RSI starts to turn up, I like the super majors. I like big oil, like Chevrons, like Exxon, into the end of the month when they're going to be reporting earnings. So where does that leave us? After a week of crazy price action, let's go back to the Qs. We ended up almost where we started, right? We drifted up on Monday, had a sleepy trading session, and then by the end of the week, we're back to where we began, 1/3% higher. Now, it was an interesting journey to get there, but this again reinforces, in my opinion, this idea that we will continue to chop in this range. I believe we'll continue to chop in this range until OPEX, and then we'll have a decision on directionality. I think that we could potentially see some downside in equities into the end of July. But if we continue to hold as support these major vol shelves, we could absolutely see a push higher on the index level into the end of the month. And it doesn't necessarily contradict my other idea, which is I believe that oil, or I should say the big oil stocks like Chevron and Exxon that will be reporting into the end of the month, that regardless of the tape, that they could be relative outperformers. Just to put a bow on it, an hour ago, now that we've wrapped up the week, and there's been a lot of wringing of hands and a lot of escalation narrative, Bloomberg's now reporting that Iran has told US officials that recent attacks on shipping were an errant part of their system. So that's to say, sorry guys, our mistake. Let's get back to negotiating a peaceful diplomatic resolution. I think that we could continue to see this topic seesawing in the narrative. The charts are effectively saying as much. It's hard to predict where we go next on the micro time frames, but I believe that there are a number of single names that are worth longing, at least tactically, and that unless we see a breakdown from these main levels, that we likely will continue to see the seasonality upside of this local positioning, right? Now let's talk bear case. The bear case is pretty simple. We've obviously got a lot of undercurrents in these markets. There are a number of shorts that have been squeezed out, so it's possible that with the amount of leverage that's in the system, any type of bad news, any type of selling could potentially beget more selling. Now again, I believe that would likely come post July OPEX, maybe into the end of the month, maybe into early August. If we, in a low volume trading regime, start to trend down, then that could continue through August and September and into the midterm. And historically, midterms do see greater corrections between spring and fall. Equally, we're at record levels of valuation. Everybody is bullish. There's a lot of derivative positioning. There are any number of scenarios where traders and even some of the big players could get caught with their shorts down, so to speak. And as we've seen this week, the peace in the Middle East is not necessarily guaranteed to be durable. Anything can and will happen, and all it could take is further escalation in the Gulf, bad news, markets start to sell, energy starts to move up, and instead of tacoing, there's even further escalation. However, looking at the structure, and let's go back to it one more time, we continue to hold these volume shelves. On the weekly, the Qs has once again found support right where it needed to, bounced, and closed with a pretty bullish candle. We continue to defend this area, and now you've got the SPX only a little bit off of its all-time highs, so threatening to clear, this is a weekly candle, close above the local 786. So plenty of case for marginal new highs, for continuation, and seasonally, as I communicated on Tuesday, we're in a very bullish period for tech, and tech has been leading this rally, right? There's no if, ands, or buts. Again, the outperformance Wednesday and Thursday was once again from software and hardware, and into Friday, it was a little bit more even. It was just a broad market continuation. Additionally, this felt like a real setup. Bad news at the bottom, right? To spook everybody here. Bad news at the bottom of this intra-week move. Trapped the late bears, squeezed them up. Trump offering to negotiate on Thursday. Iran, or at least reports that Iranian officials are, rather than escalating this, are attempting to de-escalate with platitudes and such. Pretty interesting times. I'll add one last log to the potential bullish scenario for some of my thesis, which is, again, we'll go to WTI here quickly. So in order for the energy trade to play out, there's a couple different paths, which is why rather than trading the underlying, right? If we go and set new lows, that's not very bullish for this structure in crude. If we hold, then we could absolutely reaccumulate and then attack fibs and GMAs above, right? This could be, even in a bearish downtrend, this could still be the first move towards a bit of a retrace into higher levels. But the idea wasn't to trade the underlying, the idea was to trade potentially big oil companies. They've held this bounce, especially Chevron, but Exxon as well, showing a little bit of strength after the initial pullback. I contend that even if oil doesn't cooperate, even if there is resolution in the Middle East, big oil, the supermajors, they're going to be reporting earnings end of this month, end of July. And even if the market of equities is just marching along, even if news is good, even if the geopolitical scene has cooled down, those earnings are probably going to be fantastic. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. I would submit, just as validation of the idea, doesn't mean that this has to play out. Nobody's got a crystal ball, but All Things Financial is an account that I very much respect. And in their opinion, Trump has been emptying the strategic petroleum reserve by selling oil cheap to the oil companies, and they in turn are shipping to Asia for a massive profit. I believe also to Europe, if I'm not mistaken. We're not drilling more, we are selling our protection to oil companies on the cheap. That is to say, the production is the production, but it's absolutely true that the excess oil has been routed to export and therefore profit. And so I just replied to All Things Financial with a question that wouldn't this be a strong case for owning the supermajors into the end of July earnings? So just another opinion. Again, no one's got a crystal ball. I think that it's looking very interesting, that it's looking very constructively. Technically, I think that the base case of oil companies performing well into earnings generally is very normal to see a run up into the earnings, but whether that price continues to appreciate into July and August, I like that bet. And it's not financial advice, but I think that continuing to track these processes, right? Find a trade that has some fundamental rationale, technical levels, backtesting this area as support, the breakout from January, what was originally a level of resistance proven since April of 25. I think that this is a setup that's still very much in play, regardless of what happens in the Middle East, regardless of what Trump tweets. So that'll be it for us for today. Have a really excellent weekend. Appreciate you all. Please leave some comments down below. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Would be happy to hear any and all perspectives. We'll be back out here again on Tuesday with the benefit of the week's opening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.